You're listening to the Go Lightly Martial Hour on freedomtalkradio.net. freedomtalkradio.net.
Hello. That's a 310 in Greek. Means yes. A loud cry. Okay, hi guys. Well, we are live, and because we're completely out of routine, not that we had a routine in the first place, however, we're even more out of routine than the routine that we didn't have. So we're having to do things live lately.
Well, routinely.
Routinely. Out of routine.
We had a routine visitor yesterday which stopped us being able to do the show.
Oh, good.
What? Hey, I finished the
PowerPoint.
The PowerPoint. I think I haven't allowed you to. Well, I shouldn't say allowed you because after all you slapped me around. You haven't had a chance to look at it.
No, I haven't.
There's the little plug-in there thing if you want to go quickly through it. Check for any mistakes.
Okay.
Because I have hands like dinner plates and. I don't check spelling, I just type away.
No, he just rips through.
Sometimes I use my feet, because it's easier.
Something about chimpanzees.
Yeah.
Alright, well you keep talking while I have a look at this.
Well, I've got nothing to say, really.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. On that subject...
Well, there is one little thing I could mention, I guess.
What's that?
The position of Venus last night.
Oh, yes.
On my original programs.
Yep.
That are not connected to the internet.
Yep.
It showed that Venus had set.
That's
However, an hour and a half later, the planet Venus was right
high in the
sky, which means that the Earth has shifted dramatically its axis. Mm-hmm. And of course, no one's talking about it.
Well, I mean, there's speculations.
Well,
it's usually Zeta talk, the aliens.
The aliens talk
that are channeling through a woman out of New Zealand. What was it about you said people from New Zealand?
I said most are fuckwits. I haven't met an intelligent New Zealander yet.
Right.
And I'm not being nasty, but it's a fact.
All right. Okay,
doesn't mean there isn't any.
You just haven't come across.
I just haven't come across. I have met several hundred.
Mm.
But they're pretty stupid. Big inferiority about Australians. That's what they want to beat us in all sports. They want to do this, do that. Where Australians couldn't care less. So.
Okay, all right.
So the Earth has shifted dramatically off its axis, and this can only reflect in the position of the stars above, and they of course will also have shifted, but not as dramatically as the Earth has. Now, don't worry about the Earth flipping over in one sudden surge. It's not going to happen. If it was going to happen, it would have happened already. It's just that it's settling down into being in the northern hemisphere of the Milky Way galaxy. That's why your water drains down the sink backwards now. If you're in North America or Europe, it used to go clockwise when you drain water out the sink. It's now going counterclockwise. Now, scientists usually put that down to being like they liken it to a spinning wheel or a child's merry-go-round in the local park, if you like. and if you have a ball at the centre of the merry-go-round, it's going to sit stationary, and if it's turning, and then as you let the ball roll out towards, it'll begin to accelerate and be flung and go into a curve. Now this is what the Coriolis of the spinning wheel will do. So they look at the Earth and say it's also a spinning disc, and basically if you're on the equator it'll do this or do that, blah blah blah. But the reality is that's not what's causing the Earth's Coriolis. It's only an assumption, which is like Einstein was wrong. Scientists are wrong at just about every point. And even Maxwell, the man who came up with the idea, brilliant English mathematician, there's a mountain named after him on Venus. Now, the point being, he linked gravity and the speed of light and electromagnetism together, which is basically right. However, the speed of light, as it's moving away from the sun, encountering this gigantic magnetic field, is very, very slowly moving away from the sun. And as it gets further from the sun, it accelerates. Now, on the Earth, you can't detect that because it's such a tiny little dot in the cosmos. If you was on Jupiter, it'd be a different story. The gravity of Jupiter, for example, if you were standing there on the surface, if you could, on a sphere that is 88,888 miles wide, 800 miles wide, and you're standing there with your little flashlight or a candle or whatever, how fast would the light speed away from Jupiter? Well, not very fast at all, because the gravity is much higher. So likewise, the speed of light on the Earth, the sunlight passing past it, is different to the light that would be shined from the Earth's surface or the light received from the sun. As you go further away from the Earth, the gravity becomes less and the speed of light increases. So when they say that the light is static and doesn't speed up or slow down, this is all the basis of E equals mc squared. Completely wrong. After all, remember, Einstein's a Jew. Heavy sigh, heavy silence. Life, light, truth cannot come through a Jew. It is impossible.
John 8:44.
Yes, John 8:44. So as Einstein himself hadn't read the Gospels until he was 32 years old, and he was raised in a Catholic church, although his parents were Jews, he still doesn't have inherited the spirit of the salvation of the Christian blood. And that's why they drink the blood, by the way. They want the salvation of the Christian, which only comes through Jesus. So that is what we get into talking about the other day. But India, they have no comforter, and it's all to do with a comforter. So I put this PowerPoint together, and usually, as I always do, really, I've got so many different directions I can go, and with new people coming in, listening to what I say, it's difficult to put everything in perspective and link it all together because it's so complex. And I think my little sweetie, my little frizzle over here, will tell you how difficult and complex it is, and that's why she is better at explaining these things than I, because I tend to go off into all different directions.
But you always end up...
Well, I try to get it to put
like
in
this circle.
perspective. But
it's like our trip to India. We began at 5624 from your rebirth place. We went like this. Actually, we went down like this. And then ended up back at 5624 3 weeks later.
Yeah.
It's all rather marvellous. Okay, the comforter.
So, as you're looking at that, you know, maybe think of something, I'll just put it in because I've forgotten about it, which was the Church of St. Michael's that we end up going to.
Shimla, the Himalayas.
Yes. Can you save that, what you're saving there? Save it to you. Just give me the disc back,
all right,
the USB back, because there's a picture of St Michael's Church on that, I think. And I want to put that in this PowerPoint. Or you can do it yourself. No, I've got to do it on this one because we're going to do the movie will be on this one.
Yeah, mind you, I have to give it, because this is the corrected one, so...
all right. So, as I say, what I'm going to explain to this is probably put it into perspective for you.
Put it on that one, that's the corrected one so far. It's mostly that first slide that needed tidying up.
So, man, so far...
Well, I mean, so I'm up to slide 23, and it was the first one that had the major.
Would you like to finish it all before I...
It's alright. It's keep going.
More confused now.
No, just do it, babe. Done. I'll cope.
You'll cope?
I'll cope with it when I get over there. When I get over there, I'll cope with it.
Oh, dear me. So just hang in there, folks. We've got a little couple of miracles coming at you. And we'll...
Yes, now I haven't seen this, as I was working on this morning. It's the 7th anniversary from me finding him, March the 30th.
Today is the 7th anniversary. It is a very important day to us.
Yeah. I found him on Adam's 17th birthday. He's 24 today, 7 years today I found him. Through the one called David Clues sent me the link to his YouTube site, Michelle Nye, and the YouTube itself was not
strange little fellow, David. He sort of lapsed into angelic state
totally.
as something or other would take over him, which of course is the Holy Spirit. And he would...
He was, first of all, he was willing, and second of all, he was... it's all about the bloodline, and literally he was moved over as information was being given to me, which led me to find of course, and it was David, knowing that I'm looking for the Christ on the earth, sent me the link. It was all prophetic, and it happened to happen on the night that it did, Adam's 17th birthday, when I was alone, and the stars overhead told me that I was alone later, after...
You did save it back to this thing, did you?
Yes, I did. Oh, wait on, did I?
You are so...
I am
odd.
So
you are
stupid
so
sometimes,
odd.
yes.
And you've got to save it as a 27?
97,
1997
okay.
file. Oh, dear me.
Alright, here we go.
I'm old and grey.
Old and grey, I know. Save as... I saved it to desktop. That's what I did.
Well, don't save it to desktop.
Oh, no.
Save it to the USB.
The Lexar. Here we go.
In a 97 format.
It's not giving... Oh, yes, it is. 97 to 2003, PowerPoint format. Save. Yes. Replace. Yes.
We're whittling away at your genius level, you know.
Oh, no. Tell me about it. I feel like it. Here we go.
Sure? You're absolutely possible.
Yep. If it's not, then...
If it's not there now, I'm going home. Wait a minute.
Well, we are... Alright, 375 Madarena.
You broken ass, lonely looking like sailors when that
I had to laugh at Hirad. I haven't heard from Hirad for a while, but he said that he's sleeping well at night time for the first time ever, and that he just likes to hear our voices, and no matter what we even just the music, even just playing the theme over and over, and compared to all the gatekeepers out there with all spinning their bullshit. So here I hope you're listening, babe. We're now in the distance to the same comforter. Yes. Oh, we're back to Stanwell Tops. Beautiful place, Stanwell Tops.
What did you call it, by the way?
What you called it, the Shroud. Finished.
Well, listen, strange, it's not on there. Would you like me to come round and do it?
Are you sure? Look right
Well,
down at the last, go at the very last.
I'll go to the last one, right?
Yeah.
Jennifer is golden around. That's not it.
The Shroud.
Grandma Marshall, that's not it.
What did you call it? Shroud, white-haired old man finished.
Aha!
It's there.
The old Shroud, white-haired old man finished.
Alright, the view always
There
coming on
it
that
is.
day
Yeah.
when the change started descending. I had crashed the logging truck, okay. Slide 36, 24. Years pass, we might find. Where's the da-da-da-da-da-da.
This is what happens when you get rushed, eh?
Mary. And the Great Dragon was cast out and Watford. Yes, 34. Da-da. Miniature Suns. Whoa.
An old and grey.
Whoa, 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 whoa. The 1510.
Huh?
The Michael Longitude 1510.
Do you like that?
Yeah, I like
That's good one,
that.
isn't it?
Yes.
Now I've got to go to my other computer. Got a whole bunch of computers here that we go from one to the other, and of course they're all in different formats, and it's a little bit buggerising about. It really gives me the horrors. But it can't be helped.
Wheel. Oh, the wheels within wheels.
Just give the game away. That's what I'm looking for. My love.
That.
The days grow cold.
Michael. The wheels within wheels. Whoa. Okay.
It's supposed to be a secret.
Well, it is. Done.
Right, that should do it. We don't want to spoil the surprise for little, little children out there, because they get all excited.
Alright, I'll come around that side and you can record it. Oh, wait on, somebody did.
What?
There's a message. I left a message at the Facebook. We're going to be live. So if anybody's there, leave a message and somebody has. Oh, Chris. Hi. Oh, Chris, hello, darling. Long time no hear. Chris from Utah. Hi, Yara and Ash. Love you guys. Sorry it's been a while since I chimed in. Yes, it has. I hope you're hearing this. We're into 18 minutes of... And love to you and Ashley and your beautiful children. And hope that things are improving for you. I know how stressful it's been for people all around the globe, and can be in particular the saints. However, keep on keeping on. And remember Yah's famous words, every day is one day closer. Now, from September the 28th, babe, this is the final...
Yep.
Well, let's talk about it when we get into the PowerPoint. Okay? I won't say anything now, but a bit of building on that date, clarification, what it means in the timing of things. Remembering that every day we live.
Well, it is. That's a fact, though. It is every day gets closer.
Yeah.
And I'll put this over there like that. Let's check it out. See what's in there.
I've just asked Chris, did you hear my greeting to you? Never really knowing if things are actually happening out there. I was saying we were talking yesterday with Joel's dad, as he, every time he comes, he gets more of a download. He's getting
really nice man.
He's awesome. Really cool, casual, laid back, the total bushy.
Sort of represents the old Aussie. And has a very, very keen appreciation of righteousness.
Oh, completely. always helping people, lives the simple life. He is, absolutely.
Well, Joel, his son, is it?
Yes, and Joel has lived under the witness of his father's simplicity in life, truthfulness, righteousness, and the helping hand, compassionate to the nth degree. Just a lovely, lovely man. Anyway, we were saying yesterday that we never really know, because we are so hollow-netted in the respect that everything's censored.
Well,
numbers put backwards, YouTube. We never really know how far it is that the rumour, the knowledge, the news...
Oh, rumour is extremely fast. That's why I use it, right? I started doing rumours when I was in Canada, when the internet wasn't available to me, and I had to drive a 56 or so miles to get onto the internet. And I found this communication from a guy down in America, and he said that Christ is back and he's up in Canada waiting in the shadows.
Yes. Well, how true was that? All right, so I'm testing here.
Yeah, so...
Oh, thanks, Chris, for answering. He says, I heard it. I'm doing the dishes, getting ready to relax for the evening. Nice to be part of the show. Things are getting better and improving. Thanks. Love you guys. Thanks, Chris. I was beginning to think that it was lost in cyberspace, as usual.
Lost in time and
Lost in
space.
cyberspace. Now, I am going to cross to the other...
Get on with the show.
Yes, we are. I'm going to cross to the other side of the table, so I won't be seeing any messages that do come in. If there is anybody else out there listening live, you can still leave a message. That would be nice. And I'll get it toward the end of the show. Are you ready? Are you ready?
Yeah. Just going to do a bit of adjustment.
Okay, all right. We are still getting used to being back home from India. It was only 3 weeks that we were there. However, the young girl that organised our ticket to go, she told me of her experience. She was there 4 years ago, was I think 1 month in India, and she said it took her 2 years to get over the trip. Well, now I know why. We were only there 3 weeks, and the tiredness physically within our bodies is unreal. And
I still like it.
Yeah, totally. It's the tension of living in that environment, constant noise, busyness, and being trapped in hell, being the traffic, and witnessing what it is that we witness as you're trapped in that traffic. It's unreal. But, for all the time we're away for eight months in Europe, it's nothing compared to the 3 weeks in India. It's enough. And no wonder.
It's absolutely extraordinary.
Raj, the owner of the hotel.
And the bottom line there is that people are very nice.
Oh, they
have no comfort.
Beautiful. They don't.
And their only salvation in their own mind is that only got to wait another 427,000 years, and they will become one with God. Now they've got this sort of stupid mentality. Even the intellectuals there have this stupid mentality. They believe in idols and all this kind of crap. And I spoke to a doctor there that I was quite amazed how dumb he was.
Bearing the name Krishna. That's
his name's Krishna.
Right? So,
yes.
Look, there's a message here that's come in. Evan and Brady from Chris. These are Chris and Ashley's 2 boys. Evan and Brady are listening too, and really confused why someone through the computer could be talking to or about us. He says, could you give a shout out to Evan and Brady? They will think it's amazing.
Hello, Evan and Brady.
Hello, darlings.
God talking to you. You don't have to pray no more. I'm here on the earth. Just send me an email and remember I take PayPal. And
now, Ya's asking, Chris, how old is Evan now? He's what, 7, 8?
7 and 8, I think.
9, and Brady, young baby boy, still what, 2? Anyway, just type in the ages of the boys. And, of course, to Ashley, mother, the most important.
Well, we've done a lot of discoveries on Ashley and Adam.
Chris.
No, I'm talking about Adam Yates.
Oh, Adam Yates. No, yeah, all right. Well, that's a completely different subject.
Yeah,
Just switched. Anyway, Chris, just leave the boys' ages there and hello to everybody. Evan is, there we go, Evan is 7 and Brady is 2. You are exactly right. Okay. All right, boys. A big, shall we send a kiss? There we go. Here comes a kiss for Evan and Brady. Here we go.
Go.
All right, I'm going to go to the other side of the table now, so I'll be away from my screen and any further messages that may come in. Here we go.
Is that speaker on now? You got everything?
Yes, everything's everything's happening.
All right. Now what you're going to do is press a little thing over there, and you're in business. So don't hit the throttle. Hit the pipe.
Okay, it'll be difficult for me. All right, the Shroud of Turin, authenticated by 24 scientists in 1978, when, on October the 8th, they proved it was an actual photograph of Jesus on the burial cloth of Jesus, causing the Jewish world to be devastated. In 1988, the plot to destroy its divine image was set in motion under the authority of Pope John Paul II. He was elected October the 14th, 1978. The team was named STURP, capital S-T-U-R-P. The team began its investigation on August the 27th to October the 8th, 1978. This was during the reign of Pope John Paul I. He followed by John Paul II. JP1, John Paul I, was murdered on September the 28th. He was elected 33 days earlier on the 26th of August. So now a sample was taken from the bottom left where the shroud had been repaired after the fire in 1932. Oh, rather, that's one I missed. That was 1532. I missed that one. December the 4th. The protocols were ignored, set out by the STURP scientists, when 3 samples were to be taken, but only one was, and it was cut into 3 pieces. Then on April...
And they collaborated.
Then on April 21st, 1988, Cardinal Ballesteros announced the results on October the 13th, 1988. So the test was done April the 21st and the results October the 13th, 1988.
So it's the 14th over here, but remember the Pope was elected on that day.
Yeah, John Paul II.
1978.
Yeah, when the sunlight was... Here it goes. So we have precisely 10 years from the election of Pope John Paul II. He, a Jew via his Polish mother. He was voted in as Pope by the conclave October the 14th, 1978. The sunrise for Rome was 6:23 a.m. and set at 17:29 p.m. exactly 666 minutes of sunlight. It was under the leadership of John Paul II that the full force of Vatican II came into power, enabling the Freemason and Jewish priests and bishops to dominate the Vatican. So it's the reconvening of the Sanhedrin. That is what has taken place. Predictably, the dates of the 3 tests included 3 results. AD 1273 to 1288, or 1262 to 1312, or 1353 to 1384. So the tests were carried out on the repaired area sample, which was part shroud and part patch. The patch would indicate 1532 and the shroud 33 AD. So between the 2 years, 1499 years. So the mix equals the date proportionately. If there was more shroud, then it would be lower. If there was more patch, it would be a higher date. There's the 521 weeks, or 3652 days, 10 years, the election of...
Of course, they knew this, and that's why they did it.
Yes. So Lucifer's demons must carry out subterfuge, and is why the labs were handsomely rewarded after their test results were announced. Either way, the test was a fraud, which has only one explanation, and that is the shroud is genuine. But once announced, the media hype by the hyenas has been relentless. It's a fake. This is what they all say, the hyena press. So this brings us to how universities are dominated by the Jews. A professor must do what he is told, and so we have many Shroud videos on YouTube denouncing it was a fake based on the false tests carried out. The average viewer is not smart enough to dig deep, and so when the word is said it's a fake, that is it. I have been explaining the Shroud for decades. It was only a few months ago the original leader of the 1978 team, Mr. Jackson, announced the Shroud has a strip of linen meticulously sewn down one side, almost indistinguishable. The large piece of cloth is 171 by 39.5 inches and the small is 171 by 3.5 inches. And here it is on the screen. Now, you know, those who have been following long enough know that Yah has been proclaiming this now for decades. And then, of course, on the shroud you have white beard, white hair, just as the skeptics had said. The original cannot be a negative image, otherwise Jesus was an albino when they know Jesus died at 33 years of age. The death on the cross, the blood loss and soul has gone. This is what the cross is all about. In the tomb, the shroud was the Last Supper tablecloth, fine linen, with the flowers on the table as a scenes. That's what we did. We set the tables with fresh flowers. It's what I continue to do when I had opportunity in this life. Now, the tablecloth is folded in the tomb, waiting for my body. Nearing the Sabbath at 6 p.m, the shroud is laid out. Now, I have to point out here that although, you know, we were Essenes, right? Although we were Essenes, laws, the Jewish laws, had to be obeyed, and it was always, as Nicodemus said, out of fear of the Jews. It was all about living another day to get the job done. So the shroud is laid out and my body laid on it. Rigor mortis had occurred. No blood. The storm had washed and cooled my body. No bleeding. In the tomb, the open wounds were congealed and then make a blood stain in the shape of the wounds. The stone to the tomb, 13 feet 2 inches by 2 feet thick, was rolled and fastened with a 2-inch thick spike in the wall and sealed. The guards were placed guarding the tomb.
It was an iron spike.
Yeah. That was a demand of the priests, they insisting that my followers would steal away my body and say I had resurrected, as I had warned them that I would. So at 6 p.m, no time to prepare my body. The women had to leave and could only lay the shroud over my body. At that point, my soul, my father, was gone. But where to? To the future, to be conceived 1910 years later. Then the resurrection occurred April the 5th, 33 AD, Jerusalem time. Here is an image that somebody has put up there that Yah has taken. Light entered the tomb. The Father flowed through the shroud, burning the outside of the cloth, passing around my body like a holy garment of white light. Conceived at the same moment, 1910 years later. The white hair of the old man, a 71.717629-year-old image of God. The white hair of the old man, 71.717629-year-old image of God with white hair, hair like wool. Now, from a child, you were told you had hair like wool.
It's Gematria, isn't it?
And it is. It's like, well, it's not normal hair. Daniel 7:9. I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the Ancient of Days did sit, whose garment was white as snow, and the hair of his head like the pure wool. His throne was like the fiery flame, and his wheels as burning fire. In 7 verses of the King James 1611 Bible, the word comforter is used. The Old Testament is saying they have no comforter, while the 4 mentions in the New Testament, Jesus speaking. He or the Father or both will send the comforter, who will speak of Jesus and the Father and remain with you forever and teach you all things. So we add the verses as follows. It's Ecclesiastes 4:1, Lamentations 1:9, Lamentations 1:16. Then in the New Testament, John 14:16, John 14:26, John 15:26, and John 16:7. So add all of those verses as numbers, 4.1, 1.9, 1.6 equals 7:16. And then the 14.16, 14.26, 15.26 plus 16.7, they total 60.38. So add the old, the 7.16 to the new, 60.38, for a total of 67.54. And what do we have? Hello! We have Hebrew 6754, which is Teslem. Now it's actually pronounced Salem, meaning to shade a phantom, that is figuratively illusion, resemblance, hence a representative figure, especially an idol, image, vain show. And guess what 6754 is? It's the area in square inches of the larger cloth which has the image over it. Its area is 6754.5 square inches. So there we have the 6754, the image, a representative figure, etc. The 0.5 in Greek is Abba, A-B-B-A, Father. As Jesus, my nickname was Barabbas. The Greek number is 912. This is the number for Barabbas in the Greek concordance. I was 9 pounds 12 ounces when born, 22 inches long. Seth lived 912 years, and that is the average age of all the pre-flood patriarchs. Now, I had no intention of not going to the cross, for my Father was my soul locked up in my blood. Only by bleeding to death could the Father be released. And then the quote from John 10:30, I and my Father are one. Matthew 27:20, but the chief priests and elders persuaded the multitude that they should ask Barabbas and destroy Jesus. There it is, Greek dictionary, Barabbas 9:12, son of Abba, Bar-Abbas, an Israelite, Barabbas, son of the Father. There is the 5 Abba, which is Father. Now, looking at the screen here on the left side, the left negative, the right positive, showing the white hair of the 71.717629-year-old image of myself today, the Father. I, the Father, in the blood of my Son, Jesus. 23 XX chromosomes and 1 Y chromosome for a total of 24. The blood left my body from the cross as my blood flowed out in all directions from the crown of thorns, the scourging, the nails and spear in my left side, up between the 5th and 6th rib into my heart. And then at the resurrection, the image, my soul, passed through from the spiritual into the physical body to burn the cloth flat on the stone. The front side is longer, following the contour of my body, with no flat pressure points as the body against the stone. Now, of course, I will say this, that everybody, Yah has been telling them forever they are reading the cloth backwards. Over and over and over they say that the spear went in on the right side. That is not true. It went in through the heart. The whole purpose for the spear up through the heart. There are no...
Only thing, I should mention, as they're yapping on about a thing on the right side, none of these skeptics have come up and said that the heart is on the left, so why stab him in the right? So therefore he wasn't dead. I mean, that's one thing I would first, if I was a skeptic, say, well, if they stabbed Jesus on the cross on the right side, that the idea was to not hit the heart.
Mm.
Right? They're not saying that.
But of course, still, you've got the speculation that the vinegar that they served was a narcotic, put you to sleep, and you weren't dead anyway. All total bullshit.
I don't deal with the facts.
Excuse me, children. Total BS. Yeah. Excuse me, children. Anyway, moving right along. There are no flat pressure points from the rigor mortis. There is blood from the wounds on the side of the shroud where it rested against my body. The burned image is on the outside of the shroud and is why the spear is shown to be on the right side. I can assure you, the men who crucified people knew where the heart was, on the left. This means the scientists are looking at the wrong side, thinking the soul burned the shroud against my body. The opposite is true. The soul came into the tomb and through the shroud outer surface, burning the image. Looking at the image, we see the small strip sewn onto the larger piece. In the next slide, I have moved the strip away. Then you can see my body is in the center of the larger piece. And the area, 6754.5 square inches, is the image, salam, of the Comforter, God, John 10:30. I and my Father are one. The my is added. I and Father are one equals 144 in English Gematria. Here you see the detachment of the strip at the side, and the figure is centered within the larger cloth, the table cloth from the Last Supper. The Comforter is numbered in the Greek concordance of the James Strong's 1611 King James Version dictionary listing of all the words, 3875. That's the word comforter. The distance from my home to the South Pole in miles. I was 942 days old when the family moved. The Jesus verse total in the same concordance is 942. Now, the rebirth location, if you don't already know, was 105 Rothschild Avenue, Rosebery, Sydney, Australia. The rebirth time and space are measured against the rebirth hour of the Christ and his rebirth location. The time was January the 11th, 1944 at 2:22 a.m. This is the day and the hour that only the Father knows, because he is the Father and he is the only one that can tell the world, alert and declare when he was reborn to the earth. Ecclesiastes, quoting Ecclesiastes 4:1. So I returned and considered all the oppressions that are done under the sun, and behold the tears of such as were oppressed, and they had no comforter. And on the side of their oppressors there was power, but they had no comforter. Wherefore I praise the dead which are already dead, more than the living which are yet alive. Yea, better is he than both they, which hath not yet been, who hath not seen the evil work that is done under the sun. Again, I considered all travail and every right work, that for this a man is envied of his neighbour. This is also vanity and vexation of spirit. The fool foldeth his hands together and eateth his own flesh.
Meat eaters, cannibals. All flesh is related, whether it be a chicken or whether it be any other thing that you eat, it is all flesh. Do not eat. You have every green herb to eat. Do not eat flesh.
Quoting Lamentations 1:9, her filthiness is in her skirts. She remembereth not her last end. Therefore she came down wonderfully. She had no comforter. O Lord, behold my affliction, for the enemy hath magnified. In the Bible it says himself. Yah corrects, in brackets, herself. Lamentations 1:16, for these things I weep, mine eye runneth down with water, because the comforter that should relieve my soul is far from me. My children are desolate, because the enemy prevailed. Now the word comforter is not Jesus. It is not the soul of Jesus. It is the three when Christ came with the Father, the ghost, worn as a garment over my body, no longer in my blood. Old Testament eats flesh of itself, cannibalism, destroyed in the flood, to reincarnate and again dominate. Today these same monsters start wars, then capture and butcher soldiers for steaks.
So they don't remember their last end, which was the flood, which killed them all. So they reincarnate, because that is what has to happen. So they don't remember their last end.
And Yah has changed that, for the enemy hath magnified himself to herself, because all of the creation is female. Yah is the alpha and only male in all of creation, and is why mankind is referred as the wife of Christ. Then the Comforter came. This is April the 6th, 1943. This is Australian time, ahead of Jerusalem by 8 hours. This was at 2:22 a.m. It was at the end of World War II. Germany, the 8th of May, 1945. 2.089 years from conception. 289 from 1 Samuel 17:34. By permutation for 7716, a lamb. This period was 763 days of ungodliness, wickedness, ungodliness. So we're talking about the end of the war with Germany, but of course it continued. The Jews through England and the USA, the Allies, still going, because they wanted to test out what would really happen when they dropped their bombs on Hiroshima and then Nagasaki. So then the battle to kill me had failed. The flood from the mouth of the dragon had set upon my mother Daphne Golightly. She was warned not to conceive. She became pregnant on the same date, this is April the 6th, 1943, as the Australian time, 2:22 a.m., as the resurrection in 33 AD, which was April the 5th, Jerusalem time, 33 AD. The word dragon is numbered 1404. The God of Moses, Lucifer, spoke continually day and night to Moses and whomever, and is believed to be the Father. Yet I, as Jesus said, no man has seen or heard God the Father. The Father and I are one. There was no comforter until April the 6th, and that should be 1943. The word Lord is found in the Torah, Exodus, Deuteronomy, Leviticus and Numbers, 1404 verses. Revelation 12:1, and there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun, and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars, that is the 12 tribes of Israel. And she, being with child, cried, travailing in birth and pained to be delivered. And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns and 7 crowns upon his heads. That is the Vatican, Europe. And her tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven, and did cast them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman, that is Daphne Golightly, which was ready to be delivered, for to devour her child as soon as it was born. And she brought forth a man-child, that is myself, the Christ, the Comforter, who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron. And her child was caught up unto God and to his throne. And the woman fled into the wilderness, where she hath a place prepared of God, that they should feed her there 1,260 days. And there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels, and prevailed not. Neither was their place found any more in heaven. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. She was cast out into the earth, and her angels were cast out with her. To her that overcometh will I grant to sit with me in my throne, even as I also overcame and am set down with my Father in his throne. Her that hath an ear, let her hear what the Spirit saith unto the churches. All souls are female. There is only one male, the Father. I and Father are one.
Well, the Hindu got that right.
They have got that right. The Comforter in the Greek New Testament, again, is number 3875. The distance from my home to the South Pole in miles. I was 942 days old when the family moved. Again, that is the Jesus verse total, 942. Again, the address of the Christ Rebirth Home, 105 Rothschild Rosebery, Sydney, Australia. Quoting now John 14:16, 14:26, 15:26, 16:7. And I will pray the Father, and he shall give you another Comforter, that he may abide with you forever. But the Comforter, which is the Holy Ghost, whom the Father will send in my name, he shall teach you all things, and bring all things to your remembrance, whatsoever I have said unto you. But when the Comforter is come, whom I will send unto you from the Father, even the Spirit of truth, which proceedeth from the Father, he shall testify of me. Nevertheless, I tell you the truth. It is expedient for you that I go away, for if I go not away, the Comforter will not come unto you, but if I depart, I will send him unto you. These verses average, Gematria is 1504. And we have what the shroud image is, 1504 from 1505, a likeness that is literally statue, profile, or figuratively representation, resemblance, image. You see how it is that we go around and round in circles?
Oh, yeah.
And end up in this wonderful, we call it the tapestry. Again, going back to the Hebrew area, the large piece of the shroud measures 6,754.5 square inches, Hebrew 6754, Selem. Shade, a phantom, figuratively illusion, resemblance, hence a representative figure, especially an idol, image, vain show. Takes us back to Genesis 1:26, and God said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness. Let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. And God speaking to the Father, speaking to the Mother. Mm-hmm. Let us make man in our image. So we have mother and father, male and female, but the mother came from within the father.
It's the mitochondria.
All right, what have we got here? We've got John 14:16, and I will pray the Father. Yah has highlighted in yellow, so the Father, my soul male. And he shall give you another comforter, in brackets, baby of the most royal mother, Daphne Golightly, that he may abide with you forever, in brackets, on the earth, God the Father. Then John 14:26, but the comforter, which is the Holy Ghost, in brackets, Yah has highlighted the soul of Jesus the Father, whom the Father will send in my name. He shall teach you all things and bring all things to your remembrance, whatsoever I have said unto you. Then John 15:26, but when the Comforter is come, Yah's yellow highlighting, whom I will send unto you from the Father, even the Spirit of truth, which proceedeth from the Father, he, in brackets, myself, Christ, shall testify of me, in brackets, Jesus. John 16:7, nevertheless, I tell you the truth, it is expedient for you that I go away. For if I go not away, the Comforter, brackets, Christ, will not come unto you. But if I depart, yellow, I will send him, brackets, that is Christ, unto you. The three are one. The Trinity, God the Father, God the Son, and God the Holy Ghost equals Christ, the most royal man, with my soul worn over my flesh body. Here we are, the measure from the rebirth location of the Christ to the South Pole, 3875.1 miles. Now what have we got? We've got the area of the larger piece being...
Just a little correction there. We have the Comforter, and what is the one?
Oh, the one, of course, is Father, Alpha, Father. All right. 6754, so add 6 plus 7 plus 5 plus 4 equals 22, equals the Hebrew alphabet. And when I was reborn as a baby, length 22 inches. Going over to Tahiti is Mount Orohina. It is 7353 feet high. This is the area of the Shroud of Turin, including the strip. So the Shroud of Turin with the strip measures 171 inches long by 43 inches wide, gives an area of 7353 square inches. The distance to the South Pole from Mount Orohina measures 4341 nautical miles. This is the feminine, Isaiah 53:3, from 35:10, anguish, or figuratively, affliction, grief, pain, sorrow. Reading Isaiah 53:3, he is despised and rejected of men, a man of sorrows and acquainted with grief. And we hid, as it were, our faces from him. He was despised, and we esteemed him not. When I was giving birth to my son Adam, on this date, March the 30th, in 1991, in it was Richmond General Hospital, I had 3 out-of-body experiences while I was pushing Adam out, and I was back at the cross, looking up at my husband, who was just a mess, an absolute mess. But I was hearing within my soul this particular verse from Isaiah 53:3, and that we esteemed him not, and then the afflictions and pain that he bore for our behalf. It was at that instant, 3 contractions, the pushing of Adam, that I did not feel the pain because I wasn't within my own body. I was back at the cross. So from my birth to the South Pole is 3875 in miles to the Comforter, and in nautical miles is 3365.3. So when you add the two, 4341 to Mount Orohina is 7706.3. Hebrew 7706 is Shaddai from 7703, the Almighty. Here we have the measure to the South Pole from Mount Orohina to the rebirth location, 7706 on the screen. As we are now in Tugum, Queensland, Australia, and as you may have noticed, all of these locations wherever we go, are divine. Therefore, back in time, this is January the 25th, 1944, 14 days after the rebirth of the Christ, January 11th, 1944, a solar eclipse crossing the 25-degree latitude just below the Great Pyramid of Egypt. The distance where it crossed to the same comforter home where I was a baby by this time, this is the date that Yah was taken home from the hospital, the distance measures 88.8 miles. This is announcing the Christ, or Jesus reborn to the earth, known this time as the Father. The Father and Son are one, the Christ. John and the Comforter. John 14:6, and I will pray the Father, and he shall give you another Comforter, that he may abide with you forever. So it's not Jesus, but is Christ. The solar eclipse, January the 25th, 1944, along the 25-degree latitude, 8.8 miles to the birth home. Then we have the November the 14th, 2012 eclipse that occurred along the 25 degrees south latitude. It measured 942 miles, equals the Jesus verse total in the New Testament of the 1611 King James. So we have this marvellous tapestry, the measure of his temple, which is the earth. Therefore, the solar eclipse that occurred January 25th, 1944 is a marker. And so from it to Tugum, we can measure, and it measures 7706 nautical miles. Almighty God. This is the view from Stanwell Tops overlooking Wollongong, the south coast of New South Wales. Now, we're going back in time to the desperation of Yah, parked overlooking that scene that I just showed you. So this is back in 1983. He says, I had no idea at that time, in his despair, I would divorce, remarry, divorce a second time, travel back and forth to Canada. It was something in my blood that drove me, always without explanation, a sudden thought, then a change in thinking, and down another blind path, yet confident the unexplained would one day be borne out. For the memory of my passing through the veil of this reality, stepping back through time to be with Mary, overlooking the small village of Carmel. I was 2424 days old at the time, which is 6.636 years of age, and that date was August the 31st, 1950. I longed to see her again, and unknown to me, my lifelong crucifixion, dreaming of my mother. Somehow I was responsible to bring her back to this realm. As I had no option, death no longer had power over me, as is the case of the souls cast into hell in this and past lives who reject the Lord and Saviour Jesus. Many who have had a near-death experience testify of hell, a place of torment where the demons dwell, tearing at their flesh. They are hopelessly lost, no way out. Then in a state of sheer terror, a white light appears in the ink-black darkness, leads them out to revive, to be forever changed by what they knew to be reality. Here again is the view from Stanwell Tops, modern day view, men preparing to mount their kites upon their backs, and they take a great leap of faith off the cliff tops to soar like eagles above the ocean, the area of the coastline known as Stanwell Tops, overlooking Wollongong. And Wollongong, of course, is the birthplace of that most royal woman, Daphne Golightly. She was born in Wollongong.
She was born on the cliffs, the mountains, actually.
Right. So Yah said the view always calmed him. So going back to this day in 1833 and 1983 rather, on that day when he was so despair, the world changed. 5 sunlight glowing balls of light appeared behind the station wagon. And then Yah, realising the sun had set, I walked from the vehicle across the road, staring at the 5 glowing orbs. Perhaps 25 minutes passed, slowly descending into the side of the hill as it sloped from the east hilltop, all in a horizontal line, descending one by one, entering into the earth. Now, Yah had crashed a logging truck off a ravine in Canada on February the 14th, 1978. He was taken up through a cold, bright tunnel of light to arrive in another realm and be told only I could save the world. Brought back by angels and seated back into this reality of the smashed truck as it was descending back into the ravine where it had been destroyed, to then be dropped back into the driver's seat and float back to the impact site. So this is Yah taken up bodily. His soul did not leave his body went with him. Time-wise then, from August the 31st, 1950, when he was 24 days old, this is when he had the experience in the schoolyard, taken back in time to Mary.
24 is Jesus, of course.
Yes, there's the number listing for Jesus in the Greek Strong's Concordance. Now, so the distance in time from then, 1950, to February the 14th, when he crashed the logging truck, 1978, a period of 27.458 years. It is 10029 days, or 1432 weeks and 5 days. 2745 Hebrew from 2775. Here we go. Ka, the sun. Ich, sun. At that time, death was not an option. My body had not suffered an out-of-body experience. I was within my soul. Years passed. So this is from the crashing the logging truck. Years passed to finally I was to reluctantly find Mary Magdalene, my first wife, as Jesus. And the date that he found her was May the 11th, 1997. Yet as horrified I was of modern women, I was caused to be with her. The home she inherited from her sadistic mother. Perhaps I saw some justification in her behaviour, although she, the same soul that contributed to me going to the cross in 33 AD, did have the usual MO. The home that she inherited was 5,813 kilometres from the South Pole, on a latitude of 31,680 kilometres around the Earth. These numbers being the completed pyramid height, that is 5813 pyramid inches, and the Greek Gematria for Lord Jesus Christ is 3168. The dates of birth were perfect, like a demon novel with all the amazing numbers. She, Mary Magdalene, known as Michelle Knight today, 1162.6 days younger than I. Her daughter Rhiannon, 11.626 years younger than my oldest child, and 7 days, or 2.127 years, between my youngest child. So Rhiannon and Yah's youngest child, Nicole. My marriage to my first wife when I was 1162.6 weeks old, the same number, this is the 11626 number, is the same number as the width of the Great Pyramid's antechamber, which is 116.26 pyramid inches wide. So 11626 weeks in years is 22.28, the 2228 metre height of Mount Kosciuszko, the highest mountain in Australia. Now here is a view on the screen from Shimla in the Himalayas, where we were on the 21st of March 2015, just 9 days ago now.
One day after the eclipse.
One day after the eclipse on the 20th of March. Here is a photograph taken of Christ Church St. Michael's, Shimla. You can see that Petra has her arm around me in the foreground. Yah took the photograph. This is after the pastor. It is actually 4:55. The time on the clock. 5 minutes after the recognition of the pastor of this Anglican church received and recognised the truth of the news that Yah
4:55 is the height of the pyramid. Up to the
rejected capstone platform. And it was 4:45 that he told us the time. It was 4:45. He said 4:45, 4:45, which is the measure.
Well, I measured the position of the sun, and the distance turned out to be 888.0 miles, or nautical miles, to my birthplace.
And the 4:45 was also a measure, the distance between the sun and the moon, wasn't it?
Yeah.
All right. Now, Mount Kosciuszko is Australia's highest mountain and aligns with the ceiling of St. Michael's Church in northern India. We had the handheld Magellan GPS, and the height standing in the church was 2,800. Oh, right. So all these genetic dates align with Michelle, who is Mary Magdalene. Age on December the 20th, 1979, when she gave birth to her daughter. She was 32.75 years old. And my youngest, Nicole, on that date, the difference between she and Rhiannon, 2.127 years or 777 days, gives us the two names in Hebrew, Yakan and Zia, found in 1 Chronicles 5:13. 1 Chronicles has 942 verses. These two names are solitary words in the Old Testament, and they are side by side, mentioned only once, each of them side by side in the same verse. But why? And here is the reason for it all. This photograph is Mary, the Holy Mother, the Virgin Mary, as a young baby on a motorcycle here with flames all over it. I'm thinking about the throne of flames.
What it was
and wheels.
I bought that bicycle and I put it on the glass tabletop outside in a room that I built, and it was for Alaska.
Yes.
It was her birthday.
Right.
So what happened was Alaska seen the bike and wasn't interested, but she's more into the fairy stuff and the dresses and all that and dressing up.
Yes.
Where the little one, she spots it and she climbs up on the glass table.
Right.
And climbs up on the bike.
Right.
And there she is with a piece of chocolate in her hand, all over her face, riding on the bike.
Now, how prophetic is this? We just started with Ezekiel's wheels with his wheels and the flames surrounding the throne.
Yeah.
And you came from Mary, the one who was sitting on the wheels, surrounded by flames, painted on the bike. Hello. You've got to think, how would the prophets be able to describe all these things as they're seeing the future? How do they describe something like this, for example?
How did Petra describe?
Exactly.
She is John from the
Exactly.
island of Patmos.
That's right.
Having been there 3 times.
Twice, 3 times now, third one completed in this lifetime, reunited with us, which was the promise to John, your reward will be with me. Okay, so Trinity was reborn 888 weeks after February the 14th, 1987, when I married my second wife. And on my 69th birthday, she was 8.888 years old. Her older sister is my mother, Daphne Golightly, born when my mother, Daphne, would have been 88.8 years old. So that was August the 11th in 2001, and Trinity's rebirth day as the Holy Mother, Mary, was February the 21st, 2004. So as baby girls, just able to talk, each of them said, I was your mother, wasn't I? Now, what date would Michael, the archangel, come to the earth? Well, Scripture states, Revelation 12, verses 7 through 10, quoting, And there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon. And the dragon fought and his angels, and prevailed not. Neither was their place found any more in heaven. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. And I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, Now is come salvation and strength and the kingdom of our God and the power of his Christ. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before our God day and night. We're switching here. We're looking at the Otford Lookout, a photograph. Wollongong, New South Wales, Otford, where the latitude where I witnessed the 5 miniature suns is 3413 south by 15100 east. The latitude 13 south and 151 east longitude. So we have 1510 as the longitude, which is I, me, the first person, singular, present, indicative, a prolonged form of a primary and defective verb. I exist. It is I. 3413 is Michael, an archangel of Hebrew origin. 4317. Hello. Now, as my blood is unusual, chromosomes, as reported from the world-famous DNA research named the Garvan Institute in Sydney. Therefore, when the devil found it was cast into hell, the same moment I had left the tomb, April the 5th, 6 a.m., this is 33 AD, passed through the veil to align with another realm, Ezekiel, which is number 3168 in Hebrew, wheels within wheels. We're talking about revolutions of time or realms.
Realms like a cog in a clock.
That's right. Revelation 12:11, and they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony, and they loved not their lives unto the death. Verse 12, therefore rejoice ye heavens and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea. For the devil is come down unto you having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. Verse 13, and when the dragon saw that he was cast unto the earth, he persecuted the woman which brought forth the man-child.
So I just point out there, when the dragon woke up to the fact that is now on the earth, in hell, been cast out of heaven. Right. So it is now from heaven, in hell, and there, at the same moment, is Michael the archangel, in the blood of the Christ, that it had to prevent, otherwise it would lose power over hell. Because heaven has then come to the earth, because it's being brought by the Lord's Prayer, which is the Christ on the earth who will bring heaven to the earth.
Surprise, surprise.
And then what happens? It will get cast, the dragon will get cast out of the earth, and there's no place for it to go except into deep space. The bottomless pit. That's why it's working so very, very hard.
Continuing. The last verse I'll reread. And when the dragon saw he was cast into the earth, he persecuted the woman which brought forth the man-child. So we're talking about Daphne bringing forth Brian Leonard Golightly Marshall.
Just before she died, she was doing housework for a Jewish doctor.
And then the dragon, the world of the Jews, sought to stop Daphne from giving birth to the little boy with the blood of the angel Michael, 3413, within the flesh of the most royal Son, wearing the soul of Jesus as a garment, Yahweh, the Lord Jesus, and now as one in the flesh of Christ. Reading the Numbers 12:13 from 12:12, to make plain by words, declare, show, signify. And this, of course, is what Yah has been doing since he has been able to make plain by words, declare, show, signify all that he has been teaching, bringing back to our remembrance his testimony of Jesus. Therefore, the Numbers 3:4-13 is Michael, and is why there are 11 people in my family with either the name Michael or Michelle. Mathematically, 11 times 3413 equals 37543. 3754 is T, neuter of 3748 as conjunction, demonst, that sometimes redundant. Why? 3 times 4 times 13 equals 156 in Greek. Greek 156, I'm the same as 154, a cause, as if asked for. That is, logical reason, motive, matter, legal, crime, alleged or proved, accusation, case, cause, crime, fault. Wherefore? Hebrew 156 is a dash, a primitive root to tread out grain or thresh.
As in the threshing floor of Armageddon.
That's interesting because the Polish name for Adam is Adash. Ezekiel's wheels are like the wheel in Daniel, heavenly rolling thing likened to a meshed gear, aligning at precise moments where I have stepped through from one realm to another. Daniel 7:9. I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the Ancient of Days did sit, whose garment was white as snow, and the hair of his head like the pure wool. His throne was like the fiery flame, and his wheels as burning fire. This is what we just talked about in the photograph of Holy Mother Mary sitting on the bicycle with the wheels and flames. Hebrew Dictionary 534 from 1536, a wheel, by analogy a whirlwind, also dust, as world, heaven, rolling thing, wheel. Back to Lawrence Hargrave, the first man to fly. Monday, the 12th of November 1894 was the day that he did it until the rebirth date of the Christ. Tuesday, 11th of January 1944, was 17,956 days, which is 2,565 weeks and 1 day, or 49.107 years. 4910 in Hebrew is Mashal. Hello. All time and space revolves around the rebirth of the Christ when measuring time to his rebirth. Hour, January 11th, 2:22 a.m. and space measured against his rebirth location, 105 Rothschild Avenue, Rosebery, Sydney, Australia. So Lawrence Hargraves lifted 16 feet from the ground by a tandem of his box kites. First man to fly. It was years later. The Wright brothers did. So from 1966 to 1994, the Australian $20 note featured Hargrave on the reverse. In the photograph, you can see Hargrave seated and swaying demonstrate the man lift kites. Sling seat and spring balance in the parkland behind Stanwell Park Beach, November 1894. And here it is today, just a glorious place to be looking over or to be down on the beach. The latitude 3413 in Hebrew is elevated from 7311, elevated. And 3413, Michael, this is in Greek, Michael the Archangel. My blood has 3 unusual chromosomes, 3, 4, 13. 3413, latitude south, 15100, longitude east. Here it is. There you can see the car parked facing the view. The white car there is where parked his car, and that rhymes, all those years ago, 1983, his moment of despair. And this is what it's all about. This is what he saw. He didn't know what it was then. He has puzzled for years over what those 5 golden orbs meant. And it was while we were in Golden Tulip in Panchkula, India, that it came to him in an instant, a heavenly download. This is what it's all about. The 4 blood moons, April 15th, 2014, then the 2nd, October the 8th.
That lines up with the Shroud of Turin, 1978.
That's right, 2014. The eclipse that occurred, March the 20th.
26,000 days old and one.
That's right. We were in Panchkula. And then the Passover, well, disregard the Passover. The Jews are always trying to steal these things. It's all to do with Yah's birth, his age on these dates. So it's the 4th of April, which is the anniversary of the day between the crucifixion and the resurrection, 2015. So it's just days away. It's actually Saturday, isn't it? 5 days away now. And then the last blood moon occurring on September the 28th this year, 2015, when Yah will be 71.717629 years old, meaning Armageddon, and Redeemer. Now,
And the phone number.
And the phone number, this is where it all started,
This is where the
7
phone
years
recognised.
ago. All started 7 years ago, 2008, October the 22nd, when we healed our first patient of AIDS and all other kinds of diseases. But prior to that, the phone number that was shoved into my face by a little black angel, and the phone number on it was 717-17629. And I said to Yah, we have to get this phone. Hello. Then we spent the month there curing people of all of their diseases and left the protocol behind for the cure to continue. Yah measured the solar eclipse that occurred on January the 26th, 2009. So this was in November when we got home. He measured of a future eclipse that did occur, January 26th, Australia Day 2009, and the distance to where it occurred, measuring back to where we established the first clinic on Gobacka Road, Port Moresby, was 7171.7629 kilometres, wasn't it?
Kilometres.
Yeah. This is what it
Now,
is.
the 15, 21 days after the 22nd
Of October
October
2008.
is the predicted Mayan calendar crossing of the 21st of December in 2012.
1521 means lead into the river of paradise, and as a latitude placed across India, it's all about India. So we've completed this circuit, if you like the wheels within wheels. Our being in India, our 7th trip within the 7 years since I found him today, exactly 7 years
My
ago.
arm spans are 77.7 inches.
That's right, it's all about the sevens. We've completed the circuit. Here it is, this is what it's all about. The martial shield on the left, the coat of arms, black and white. It's all to do with Cornwall, the tin mines there, etc. And go lightly, the rampant line, both of them, they go lightly from Ireland originally. Remember, the division of Judah, the royal tribe at the Exodus, went to Ireland, and so the bloodline of the Christ came through Ireland first, then Cornwall, hence the martial line and the martial coat of arms
Now, when
there.
silver is mined in Cornwall, it's between black coal, jet black coal,
Yes.
and white silver.
Yes. And
tin rather, I'm sorry, tin.
Tin. And then Scotland in later years.
And the guardian angel of Cornwall is
Michael. That's right. Oh.
And the name that they're on the right hand side of the Golightly, what does it say up top in the little box? It's a name in Hebrew, in Latin.
Oh, it means hitherto invincible. Hallelujah.
You see it's got the three, what is it, lions there? Which has got the Father, got the Son, got the Holy Ghost.
Right, and there is... are those shells? 3 shells in the...
No, I didn't take a close look.
Right. Actually looks like a veil, each one of them. Anyway, moving right along. Here we go. Hitherto invincible. Go lightly. This is the crown with the rampant lion. Hey, Turnus invictus. Hitherto invincible. Go lightly. Judah splitting the branch going to Ireland is where it moved to for protection. This is the Gaelic, the Celtic link. This is why the Christ family, they migrated. It was during the generation of Anna and Joachim, they migrated to Jerusalem to fulfill the prophecy of Isaiah. But the Christ family left Jerusalem to go back to the Christ family home within Cornwall.
Of course, Anna is back today in Germany.
Anna
My
and
beloved Anna.
Granny.
Well, I don't like calling her Granny today, but she's a beautiful woman today.
Totally. She's awesome. And if not for her, then Benedict. She broke through.
She's the key to it all.
That's right. And here is the Shroud of Turin on the left, and a photograph once again that I took, Hurghada by the Red Sea, how appropriate, of Yah overlaid of the Shroud of Turin. And here is the end of the slideshow. I'll move across to the desk, see if anybody else has left a message. We're still live on this continuation of the ripping yarn, coming into a marvellous... It's a wrap. Ooh. Oh, Andrew says hello from Texas a few seconds ago. So what have... okay.
One of our saints.
Andrew, the one who made it possible for us to go. And not to mention Susan as well. Susan's got her own trip coming up to the Philippines for a month. And she sent us what she could to help us along. And Chuka as well. What Chuka sent was paid for our 3 weeks of storage of our car close to the airport. So thank you, everybody.
We made it by the skin of our teeth, money-wise.
Totally, yeah. All good, as we always do, with the help of our friends. So, hello, Andrew from Texas. Now, Chris responded... Ooh, wait on, I better refresh. Oh, no, I won't. I'll just stay there. I might do something. Chris responded when they heard the kisses. They think that's great. Kisses back. On with the show. With what matters. Laugh out loud. So up to 93 minutes and 13 seconds here live. We better say goodbye because there may be somebody else trying to go on live with the Spreaker deck. So we'll be back tomorrow with a show, whether it be live or recorded. Something will be up here. So I'll say later.
I'm just going to show the little GPS we use, which is entirely accurate.
Yeah.
And what I can do is show what we used as it was in India. And there it is. You can see the nation of India there. And I placed waypoints all over it. And with this I can measure and confirm when we got back to Australia the same distances that when we was at these locations that you had found, not me, without influencing too.
Yeah, it doesn't bother with anything like that.
I was able to punch in go to, and it would give you the distance to another waypoint. So it was shaping up to be all these wonderful numbers.
Right. Okay.
All right, that's it.
And the marvel was that we made it out of Delhi into Agra, all around the place, with just that handheld GPS, no navigation system telling us to turn right or left. That was the marvel of it all.
Okay, it's run out of...
Okay,
So,
later,
it's
Gators.
run out.
Right, back tomorrow. Oh, I just want to play. Got to have the.
I'll set the pool table.
Okay, we set the pool table up. Here's the choir.
The Go Lightly Martial Out on freedomtalkradio.net.
Okay, later, Gators.